All right, so the question really is not whether there is subsidy. The point is, who is bearing the cost of fuel subsidy? More than 300 billion naira was expended on petrol subsidy in the year 2017 alone.
Indeed. Well, members of the Green Chamber are worried about this trend, saying the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has been paying subsidy to marketers by itself without appropriation from the National Assembly.
The last is yet to be heard of the controversy which arose when it was discovered that the NNPC is paying for subsidy, despite the fact that it has not been appropriated for. And in spite of the resumption in the payment of subsidies, Nigerians still grapple with fuel scarcity. House member Karimi Sunday claimed that in December last year, the Vice President Yemi Oshibajo and Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, admitted that the current landing cost of petrol is 171 naira per litre, as against the official rate of 145 naira.
No allocation was made available for subsidy in 2017 budget, and the federal government went ahead and spent 300 billion on subsidy. This is a constitutional breach. And ordinarily, it is an impeachable offense. And we cannot sit here, having sworn to an oath to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to see our Constitution being trampled under feet.
The government said 145 naira per litre is what it should sell. The same government said landing cost is 171 naira per litre, and that people should sell at 145. We ask, Mr. Speaker, which magic? Who approved the difference, which is subsidy? Whether it is NNPC that is paying its subsidy to itself, or is paying it to marketers or everybody, it must come to Parliament for appropriation if subsidy has come back.
They note that the federal government should make provision for subsidy payment in the 2018 appropriation bill.
What we should do as a parliament is this, because Nigerians are worried. And this is why they accuse us of lacking in our constitutional rule of oversight. This is why this investigation must take place, so that those who are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that public finances are transparent will come before us and answer to these questions.
The House has summoned the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, the GMD NNPC, as well as the Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Product Price and Regulatory Agency before the House Committee on Finance and Petroleum Downstream to account for the monies expended on the subsidy payment from January 2017 till date.
It's very funny, really.
I recall in 2012 when the subsidy saga, was all over the place. So, some people actually named their kids Subsidy.
Subsidy.
When an issue is too serious, sometimes you just look at the right side of it. Adeola Yusuf is an energy editor with the New Telegraph. He remains our guest this morning to discuss this issue of fuel subsidy. Now, you heard the questions that were raised on the floor there. Is it that the NNPC has been paying subsidy without appropriation? Actually, the PDP asked quite a number of questions. Is it possible that, appropriation or NNPC could have paid subsidy without the say-so or the authorization of Mr. President? And so many other questions.
Okay, first of all, let me do some clarification.
Yes.
I looked at the honorable members of the House of Representatives in that clip, and I could see a lot of misinformation. Okay, let me first of all state that misinformation was even caused by this government. First of all, what we are having now, the amount mentioned is the value of crude used to do the arrangement. I'll explain.
The 300 billion naira.
Yes. Before now, according to the NAITI, that's a natural, in 9 years, between 2006 and 2015, over 10 trillion naira was spent.
Yeah.
And the way that, was done was to do an appropriation, dig a hand into the money and give to marketers who import products. But now, immediately there was a crisis in 2015, crisis. Around June, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources announced to Nigerians that they are stopping what they call Petroleum Equalization Fund. That is the official name they give to subsidy. They said they are stopping it. And the reason they gave, which Nigerians accepted this 145 per litre, is that there is no going to be subsidy again. But now, before then, Nigerian has 4 refineries, but later one is dead. The other one, we have three functioning, but not functioning refinery. So every day they appropriate 445,000 barrels of crude for local refining. If those refineries are working, we are less concerned about what is happening to the crude at international markets. So now those refineries are not working. So what the government has been doing was what they call crude swap. They will now give these 445,000 barrels of crude daily to refiners abroad or to middlemen. Those ones will now exchange that with refined petroleum products. So when the NNPC and when the Minister of State for Petroleum announced the cancellation of Petroleum Equalization Fund, what did replace that with, because the refineries are still not working, they can't refine locally, was direct sale, direct purchase. So they cut off the middlemen and start relating